Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We've all had those moments in the kitchen, right? When things get a little chaotic, a little noisy, and a lot hilarious. Well, let me tell you about what happened in our kitchen just the other day. It's a story about a mysterious sound, a pot with a mind of its own, and a spoon that decided to take a leap of faith. It started out like any other evening. Mum was in her element, whipping up dinner for the family. The kitchen was filled with those amazing smells of a home-cooked meal, the gentle sizzle of food in the pan, the hum of the extractor fan. Know the vibe. Everything was peaceful, everything was normal, until it wasn't. Mum was stirring a big pot of soup, a classic family recipe. It's one of those heavy-duty pots with a lid that has a special locking mechanism. You have to twist it just right to get it on and off. She had just put the lid on to let the soup simmer, and she turned around to grab some spices from the rack. Suddenly, from behind her, there was this loud, sharp sound, a distinct clack. It was one of those noises that just cuts through everything else. It wasn't a bang, it wasn't a crash, it was a very specific, mechanical-sounding clack. Mum froze, spice jar in hand. Her first thought, the pot. It had to be the pot. She spun around, staring at it suspiciously. Did this pot just lock itself? She muttered to herself. She pictured the lid somehow engaging its own locking system, sealing the soup inside forever. She was already mentally preparing for a battle with this sentient piece of cookware. How was she going to get the lid off? Would she need tools? Would the soup be held hostage until she could figure out the pot's secret? Her imagination was running wild, picturing a wrestling match with a stubborn, self-locking pot. She walked over to it cautiously, like she was approaching a wild animal. She poked the lid. Nothing happened. She tried to twist it, and it came off just as easily as it always did. Huh, she said, completely baffled. That's weird. I could have sworn I heard it lock. She looked around the kitchen, searching for another explanation. Was it the fridge making a weird noise? The dishwasher? Nothing seemed out of place. She shrugged, put the lid back on, making sure it wasn't locked this time, and went back to her spices, still feeling a little puzzled. Now, let's rewind a few seconds and switch perspectives. While Mum was having her silent standoff with the pot, Dad had just walked into the kitchen. He was on a mission for a snack before dinner and was quietly opening the cutlery drawer. He was trying to be stealthy, to avoid the classic "you'll spoil your dinner" lecture. He pulled out the drawer, his eyes scanning for the perfect spoon, for a scoop of, well, let's just say a pre-dinner appetizer. He found his target, a nice big tablespoon. As he lifted it out, his grip faltered for just a split second. The spoon slipped from his fingers. It didn't just fall straight down. Oh no, that would be too simple. It hit the edge of the drawer on its way down, which acted like a tiny catapult. The spoon flipped through the air in a surprisingly graceful arc and landed perfectly, bowl side down on the tiled floor, and the sound it made upon impact. You guessed it. A sharp, clear clack. Dad just stood there for a moment, staring at the spoon on the floor. His first thought wasn't about the noise he'd just made. It was pure astonishment at the spoon's acrobatics. Whoa, he thought. Did that spoon just jump out of my hand? He was genuinely impressed, replaying the little flip it did in his mind. It was like he'd just witnessed a tiny metallic gymnast perform a floor routine. So, at this point, we have two parallel stories happening just feet apart. We have Mum, convinced her pot has developed a mischievous personality and is playing tricks on her. And we have Dad, marveling at the physics of a falling spoon and its surprising agility. The two worlds were about to collide in the most hilarious way possible. Mum, having given up on her pot theory, turned around just as Dad was bending down to pick up the fugitive spoon. She saw the spoon in his hand and the open cutlery drawer. The gears in her mind started turning. What was that noise a minute ago? She asked, still looking a bit confused. Dad held up the spoon like it was a piece of evidence. This little guy just took a leap of faith out of the drawer, he said with a grin. Did you see it? It did a full flip. Mum stared at the spoon, then back at the pot, then back at Dad. A slow smile started to spread across her face as all the pieces of the puzzle clicked into place. The mysterious clack wasn't a self-locking pot, it was a gravity-defying spoon. The mental image of her preparing for battle with a piece of cookware while Dad was admiring a piece of cutlery was just too much. She started to chuckle, a small laugh at first, then it grew into a full hearty belly laugh. Dad, seeing her laugh, started laughing too, partly because her reaction was so funny and partly because the whole situation was just absurd. He started dramatically reenacting the spoon's jump, complete with slow-motion sound effects. It was like, pew, and then clack, he exclaimed, gesturing wildly. Soon, the entire family, drawn in by the commotion, was in the kitchen, and the story had to be told from both sides. Mum explained her side first. I was standing right here, she said, pointing at the stove, and I heard this clack. I swear, I thought the pot lid had just locked itself on. I was ready to get a crowbar to get our soup back. We all burst out laughing, picturing Mum in a showdown with her own dinner. Then it was Dad's turn. And I was just trying to get a spoon, he explained, and it literally jumped out of my hand and did a somersault onto the floor. I thought it was trying to escape. This sent us into another wave of laughter. The image of a spoon with a will of its own, making a break for freedom, was just golden. For the rest of the evening, it became the running joke. Every little noise in the house was met with suspicion. The fridge hummed, "Is it planning something?" A floorboard creaked. Is that another spoon making a run for it? We couldn't stop laughing. It was one of those simple, silly moments that you know you're going to remember for years. It's a reminder that sometimes the funniest things in life are the simple misunderstandings, the moments where our imaginations get the better of us. It's the story of the self-locking pot and the jumping spoon, a legendary tale in our family's history. It just goes to show you that even a normal evening in the kitchen can turn into a source of endless laughter. So, next time you hear a strange noise in your house, before you assume the worst, maybe check if someone just dropped a spoon. Thanks so much for hanging out with us and letting us share this story with you. We hope it brought a smile to your face today. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more daily smiles and stories from our crazy family. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Drop a comment below and tell us about a funny misunderstanding you've had in your family. We'd love to read them. Until next time, take care and keep laughing.